So then on the same note, Lourdes, I'll save you for last since you went first the last time. Chris, what types of challenges or ways did COSI meet the public's expectation of the new space versus the old space, so that you didn't lose the connection of what many people, myself included, have memories of being at as a child, to being in a new location and not just completely losing the history that was there?
Well, if you've been in Columbus for the last 12 years or so, you know, I think in some ways we didn't do a fantastic job of that. I think we would do it differently today if we could relive it. We really wanted to strike a new note, and we really in some ways took just a very few experiences from the old COSI to the new. And I think if we were doing it over, we might steward some different things, you know, some people's memories and things that we had there into this, you know, into this format. I think it was good for us to create new experiences, but at the same time, you know, I think we appreciate our past more now than we did at the time. But of course, the funders and the, you know, the leadership at the time thought that was the right direction, and so we did. And I think, you know, what we're trying to do is sort of bridge now between the past and the future and the current. I think for, you know, today's kids, that this is the only COSI they know, and they love us. But for some adults, they're still maybe a little bit mad that the coal mine or the presidents didn't move, and we do hear from them. Yeah. And I worked at the old COSI. I work at this one, and I can appreciate that arc, particularly when it was your memory as a child. That's really hard to give up. You can't share that memory with your children. So we've been very deliberate about some things to help bridge with that. So when we first moved to the new building, the pendulum was in a different space than it is now. Now it greets you as you walk in, just like it did at the old building. The electrostatic generator show, when we first moved into the building, was not a real featured experience. Well, that and rat basketball, which we've been doing for years, are featured experiences. So rather than being sort of bricks and mortar kind of connections, we've tried to emotionally connect with things that we can, and really in some ways about who and what we are, to be really engaging, to really inspire curiosity, to be a place that's safe to explore and try things. Those haven't changed. But, you know, people are pretty literal about their memories and their experiences. So I think if we were doing it again, we might do it differently, but that's part of what you learn. And we just carry some of that with us, and we know that there's some folks in the community who will never forgive us, and it's okay. We've made peace with that. Now, did that answer your question? Was there more? Okay, all right. I lost track.
I guess to bring that back around to the question that inspired that, as far as a brand still being more than your logo. I was asking that question of Chris because things like the pendulum and the electric generator, those are things that are distinctly COSI, that have nothing to do with their identity, and it's a way that they engage into the community and their audiences that connects. Again, no graphics or anything involved. It's more of an experience. Yep, sure.
But I think your brand is your experience. So while it may not show up in the logo, the brand is really, it's so emotional. It's emotional about what you think you are, and more importantly, what others think you are. And it's the convergence of those two. And if there's disharmony, that's really when you have a brand challenge. When you see yourself one way, and the audience says, that's not the way we see you at all, then you have a problem. And I think there's, in any brand, there's going to be little bumps where there's going to be, you know, little disagreements about the integrity of the brand and what you think you are and what your audience thinks you is. But the good news is with social media is that you can listen to your audience, and you know, there's formal ways you can do that through surveys and so forth, but really in social media, you can listen and see what people are saying, and you can see where the inconsistencies come out. And really, I think as an organization, you start to then reshape yourself to say, well, I want to talk about myself in a way that is relevant, but also, oh, I didn't realize that, you know, people really were frustrated, angry, interested, whatever it happens to be. That feedback loop is really essential. So I feel like we're more quickly shaping ourselves because of that feedback. But really, the essence does come down to that pendulum, that electrostatic generator, much more so than they may never remember our logo, but they will remember that.